Bom dia, welcome back. Hey, come with me, let's go out for a walk, and I'm going to talk about safety and danger in the big city of Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. A viewer asked me about safety in Salvador. The viewer expressed a desire to live in Salvador, but was concerned about personal safety and wanted my opinion about that, and here it is. If you look on the internet, you'll Google the 50 most dangerous cities in the world. Salvador is number 13. The 13th most dangerous city in the world, which sounds rather alarming, doesn't it? But what I always say in response to that is that I have been traveling to and living in Salvador, Bahia, for the past 22 going on 23 years. My first time here was in, was it 2003, I believe? And I feel content, safe. I'm not nervous. If you watch my videos, you know I go on a daily walk for two to 3 hours a day, and I walk all over the city, and I feel safe. I've had two personal incidents here, and one incident where it was a good friend of mine who was a victim of crime, and I was a victim of crime, as I just said 2 times, and I'll tell you what those were. But I am alive and well, and I'm not nervous. Overall, I feel safe and secure here. Now, just like any large city, including large cities in the United States, you have to have your wits about you. You have to know where to go, what neighborhoods are safe and what neighborhoods are not safe, and just use your common sense. I have been mugged, robbed, and even violently attacked to the point of being punched and knocked unconscious in the United States. So, you want a dangerous experience? Move to the United States. Here in Salvador, I've only been a victim of crime twice. The first time was just about 3 weeks after I moved here, way back in 2004. And I did something that was not very bright. I had been warned not to walk down this particular street at night. This particular street, perfectly safe, a busy street during the day, but not at night. It's a busy shopping street, but at night it's deserted. And I let my guard down. I was tired. I needed some bottles of water that I had to take back to my apartment. So I went out about 8 o'clock in the evening and got a couple of big bottles of water and was carrying them home on that street. And sure enough, I was walking slowly, and I had a heavy bag carrying, and I was tired. And sure enough, 2 muggers jumped out from a dark alleyway and held a knife to my throat. And I knew exactly what they wanted. They didn't even have to say anything. I was in the process of handing them my wallet when an unmarked police car pulled up, slammed on their brakes. Policeman jumped out and put a gun to the head of the robbers. Talk about instant justice. Boy, what a relief. What service. And the robber, of course, one of the robbers who had taken my wallet, dropped it on the ground, and I picked it right up, and there was nothing missing. The only slight inconvenience, but it wasn't really inconvenient, it was kind of interesting, is that the police asked me to get into the patrol car and go to the police station and make a police report. And I said, sure. And they put the two muggers in the back, in the trunk. And we got to the police station, they started whimpering. They knew it was going to come. That was the hardest part. It wasn't the mugging. It was when we got to the police station, the police brutally kicked the guys with their big police boots on, kicked them. The guys were whimpering and crying. And I had to sit right next to them in a chair, of course, and they were sitting on the ground, on the floor. It was unpleasant. I found that shocking, that violation of human rights. It's not that they did not deserve to be punished, but, you know, they did not need any kind of corporal punishment like that. But anyway, I made my police report, and they were very nice to me. They gave me some postcards of the city as I left. And I went home a little wiser, but I didn't lose anything. And then for many years, until this year, I had absolutely no incidents of crime whatsoever. And then this year, in February of 2025 at Carnival, again, it was mostly my fault. I knew perfectly well that at Carnival, you do take nothing of value. You should just, the only thing you should have on you are your flip-flops, your Bermuda shorts, and a t-shirt. But I was holding my cell phone aloft, capturing video from my YouTube channel, and sure enough, someone grabbed my cell phone out of my hand and ran off. And I had no one to blame but myself, because I knew perfectly well that I had broken the rule. It was a stupid thing to do, you know, and it was an old cell phone. It really didn't have much value. It was, you know, it didn't have much more time, life left in it. It was a, you know, inconvenience more than anything, because your whole life is on your cell phone nowadays. Your banking, all your contacts, etc. But, you know, within a week, I had replaced everything that I needed to on a new cell phone. Well, actually, I had a second cell phone, so it was no big. It was a little bit of a hassle, and also, again, it was a learning lesson. It was a lesson and a wake-up call. You know, don't let your guard down. You know what's safe and what's not safe. Walking on that street at night where I had been warned not to was my fault. Taking my cell phone and waving it around in public at Carnival was my fault. Other than those two incidents in almost 23 years, rather. My first 3 years were in Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. In my almost 23 years here in Salvador, I've had those two minor incidents. And the third incident I mentioned did not happen to me, but they happened to a dear friend who came to Salvador to visit, and she did something stupid. She's a professional photographer. She's like 5'2". She's a little person. Went out at 6 o'clock in the morning in the Pelourinho Historic District with $5,000 worth of professional camera equipment around her shoulder. And she just like, might as well have had a big sign that said, "Ay, ay, ay." Sorry, I just ran into a kid by accident. She might have had a big sign around her neck saying, "I have expensive camera equipment, rob me." Because of course at 6 o'clock in the morning in the Pelourinho, there's nobody out. Nobody's up, nobody's out. And, you know, she's a small woman, and she was just asking for it. It was stupid, just as stupid as I was. And of course she did not, you know, that camera equipment was gone, but, you know, it was insured. When she got back home to the United States, she got a check for what she lost. But I'm mentioning these three incidents because, you know, as you can see from what I've said, it was our fault, because we were warned. We knew. I mean, you would not walk. Nobody would in the right mind would walk out of the house in a major U.S. city, and especially one that has, you know, a reputation for crime, like, I don't know, Detroit, Memphis, Baltimore, you name it. with $5,000 of camera equipment in the wee hours of the morning, all by yourself, you know, it's like you're asking for it. So other than that, no. I'm normally very alert. You know, I'm originally from New York City. I know how to handle myself in a big city. I walk like I know where I'm going. I walk at a good pace. And no, I haven't had any bad incidents. Certainly no violent incidents whatsoever. I have had bad incidents in the United States. I think I've been robbed at either gunpoint or knife point at least 5 times in the United States. And one time I was knocked unconscious by a mugger. So, you know, dangerous is the United States. I know Brazil has a bad reputation, but don't get carried away. Don't be a victim of the media. Just use common sense and you'll be fine. So that's what I have to say to my viewer about crime in Salvador, and I encourage that person to move here and have a great life and have a great experience. There you go. Thanks for taking a walk with me today, and as always, beijo, ciao. See you next time.